This just changed everything for Dallas. A division rival may have accidentally opened the perfect door for the Cowboys. And if Dallas is paying attention, their running back problem could be solved overnight. And before we go any further, if you live and breathe Cowboys football, hit that subscribe button right now because this is where we break down every major Dallas move before the rest of the league catches on. Cowboys fans, this is one of those moments that could completely shift the direction of this offense, and I'm telling you right now, not enough people are talking about it. Everybody keeps asking the same question. What exactly is Dallas doing at running back? Seriously, what is the real plan here? Because if we are being honest, there are way too many question marks at one of the most important positions on this roster. The Cowboys can talk about internal development all they want. They can tell us young guys progressing. They can tell us patience is the key. But at some point, results matter. And right now, the results simply are not there. You look at this room and there's uncertainty everywhere. There's talent, sure. Potential, absolutely. But proven, dependable production. That's where things get shaky fast. Let's start with Jaden Blue. Coming out of Texas, this guy had electric traits written all over him. The speed jumped off the screen. Defenders looked frozen trying to catch him in open space. His explosiveness made people believe Dallas had landed a legitimate home run threat. A 4.3940 is no joke. That kind of speed changes games. That kind of speed forces defensive coordinators to panic. That kind of speed is supposed to create fear every single time a player touches the football. But here's the problem. Potential doesn't win football games. Execution does. And what happened last season was deeply concerning. Blue had opportunities. He wasn't buried behind some untouchable superstar. The coaching staff gave him a legitimate chance to establish himself. And what happened? He disappeared. The production never matched the promise. The consistency never showed up. And even worse, concerns started surfacing about effort, preparation, and maturity. That's the kind of stuff that gets you buried fast in the NFL. Talent will get you drafted. Discipline keeps you employed. And according to everything we saw, Blue simply wasn't meeting the standard. Now let me ask you this. How many times have Cowboys fans heard about a high-upside athlete who just needed development, only to watch that development never happen? That's what makes this so frustrating. The flashes are there. You can see the tools. You can imagine what he could become. But at some point, imagination has to become reality. The coaching staff made it clear last year that standards matter. When Blue wasn't meeting them, he lost opportunities. And yes, he returned late in the year, but let's be real here. One late appearance doesn't erase an entire season of disappointment. Question of the day. Do you still believe Jaden Blue can become Dallas' future RB1, or should the Cowboys move aggressively to bring in outside help? Comment below. That's where this gets fascinating. Because while Cowboys fans are stressing over uncertainty, San Francisco may be preparing to hand Dallas exactly what it needs. And that player is Isaac Garendo. This is the kind of move smart front offices make. This is how good teams steal value. You identify a talented player buried on another roster, wait for circumstances to force a release, and strike immediately. And Isaac Garendo fits this perfectly. If you only looked at last season, you'd miss the bigger picture. He barely saw offensive snaps. Injuries slowed him down. Opportunity vanished. And in San Francisco, once you fall behind in that system, climbing back up is brutal. Kyle Shanahan's offense is ruthless. Miss your shot, and someone else takes it. There are no sympathy representatives. There are no participation carries. You either produce immediately or get past. That's exactly what happened here. And now the 49ers have a logjam. Christian McCaffrey is still the centerpiece. They've invested in younger backs. There are multiple runners competing for touches. Someone is getting squeezed out. And all signs point toward Garendo becoming expendable. That should make every Cowboys fan sit up immediately. Because this guy is not some random depth piece. This is an elite athlete. And I mean elite. We're talking about one of the most explosive testing profiles you'll ever see at the running back position. A relative athletic score of 9.89 out of 10. That is absurd. That puts him in rare company historically. A 4.33 40-yard dash. A 41. Num in vertigang. A blistering first-step burst that defenders struggle to react to. This isn't ordinary athleticism. This is game-breaking athletic DNA. And if you're wondering whether that translates to actual football production, go back to his rookie flashes. Over 3 yards after contact per carry. That's not empty speed. That's power, balance, and toughness. That's a back who keeps producing after defenders get hands on him. And here's the scary part. He's still only 25. This isn't some aging reclamation project. This is a young player entering his physical prime who simply needs opportunity. Sometimes a player doesn't fail because he lacks ability. Sometimes he's just stuck in the wrong situation. A change of scenery changes everything. And Dallas could be exactly that. Think about the fit. You already have physical grinding presence in the backfield. That's valuable. But what's missing? Explosiveness. Dallas lacks that terrifying change-of-pace weapon who can turn a routine handoff into a 60-yard nightmare. Defenses don't fear enough speed from this backfield. They respect it. They don't fear it. That has to change. Garendo changes that instantly. The moment he touches the ball, defenses have to account for the possibility he's gone. That changes alignments. That changes pursuit angles. That changes play calling. And suddenly your offense has stress-inducing versatility. That's what Dallas has been missing. And honestly, it's what they hoped Jaden Blue would become. That's the uncomfortable truth. Blue was supposed to bring this exact dimension. He was supposed to become that spark. That vertical rushing threat. That explosive mismatch. Instead, Cowboys fans are still waiting. Still hoping. Still wondering. How long do you wait before you admit hope isn't a strategy? That's the real question facing Dallas right now. Because championship windows don't stay open forever. You can't keep waiting for maybe. Eventually you need certainty. And Garendo offers a much more realistic path to immediate impact. Now, does this mean Blue is finished? No. Not at all. Sometimes competition wakes players up. Sometimes watching another hungry player threaten your role forces maturity. Maybe that's exactly what Blue needs. Maybe bringing in Garendo lights the fire Dallas has been waiting to see. And if that happens, fantastic. Now you've got 2 explosive options. That's a win. But doing nothing, that's the dangerous move. That's betting your season on wishful thinking. And Cowboys fans have seen enough of that. This organization has to start making aggressive, smart roster decisions. No more crossing fingers. No more hoping internal growth magically fixes everything. Identify opportunity. Attack opportunity. Upgrade the roster. Simple. And this opportunity feels gift-wrapped. San Francisco likely can't keep everyone. The numbers don't work. Roster math is undefeated. Cuts are coming. When Garendo becomes available, Dallas needs to move instantly.
No hesitation. No overthinking.
No waiting for another team to beat them to the punch. This is exactly the kind of low-risk, high-upside move that sharp contenders make. And if Dallas lets this slip, Cowboys fans are going to lose their minds. Because the solution would have been sitting right there. A perfect schematic fit. Elite measurable traits. Minimal acquisition cost. Huge upside. Those opportunities don't come around often. This is the type of move people look back on months later and say, how did nobody see that coming? Well, we see it now. The writing is on the wall. San Francisco has too many backs. Garendo needs a fresh start. Dallas needs explosion. The connection is obvious. The only question is whether the Cowboys front office sees it too. Because if they do, this backfield suddenly gets dangerous. This offense gets faster. And this team becomes significantly harder to defend. That's why Cowboys fans should be paying close attention over the coming weeks. Watch the 49ers roster decisions carefully. Because if that release happens, Dallas cannot afford to sit still. This is one of those under-the-radar moves that can quietly become one of the smartest pickups of the year. And if it happens, don't act surprised. You heard it here first. Dallas might be one phone call away from solving one of its biggest offensive weaknesses. And if they make that call, the rest of the NFC better pay attention. Because adding that kind of speed, that kind of athletic upside, and that kind of hunger to this offense, that changes things fast. Cowboys fans, buckle up. Something tells me this story is just getting started.